So, what if you could build a six-figure business but only work a few hours a week? And what if you could do it with something most people just completely overlook? Well, this is the story of Kyler, a 23-year-old who did exactly that, just by renting out old, kind of ugly washers and dryers. It sounds ridiculously simple, but trust me, the strategy behind it is pure genius. Let's break it down. All right, let's just get right to the most powerful idea here. When Kyler was asked if you could start this thing with absolutely $0, his answer was just one word: yes. And that one word, that's the foundation of this whole thing, because the core concept here is all about getting rid of the risk. Okay, so what does a zero-risk business look like once it gets going? It looks like this: $10,000 a month in recurring revenue. And that's the magic word, right? Recurring. This isn't about a one-time flip. This is a steady, predictable stream of cash from a super simple idea. And here's the real kicker. This isn't some 80-hour-a-week grind. Nope. Once the system is all set up and running, Kyler's only spending about 5 hours a week on it. Just think about that for a second. Huge income for just a tiny amount of time. That's the combo that makes this story so incredible. So how in the world did this whole thing start? Well, it wasn't with some fancy business plan or a huge bank loan. It all started with a really simple, totally no-risk experiment on Facebook Marketplace. He came up with this method he calls post before you buy. You see, Kyler was always testing things. He'd find pictures of anything online. We're talking excavators, hot tubs, chainsaws, and he'd post them for rent on Marketplace. The crazy part? He didn't own any of it. He wasn't even trying to make a sale yet. He was just trying to figure out what people actually wanted to rent. And this is where the story gets really good. One day, he grabs this random, normal-looking photo of a washer and dryer set, posts it for rent for $50 a month, and then he just leaves, hops on a cruise, no cell service, completely off the grid. So what happens? When he finally gets back, his Facebook inbox is just flooded. He had 30 messages from people right in his area who were ready to rent the appliances he didn't even have. That was it. That was the proof. He knew he'd struck gold. So this little experiment led him to this dead simple 3-step process that just flips the whole traditional business model upside down. Step 1, you post the listing. That proves people want it. Step 2, you rent it out. You get a real paying customer to commit. And only then, step 3, you actually buy the machine. Post, rent, buy, it completely removes all the upfront risk. Okay, so he's got a proven idea. But how do you go from a bunch of messages to actual money in the bank? Let's dig into the story of his very first rental. Sticking to his own rules, Kyler messaged all 30 of those people back. He found someone who was serious, and only after she said, "Yes, absolutely, can you install it tomorrow?" did he go out and buy his very first machine. He had guaranteed income before he had a single expense. It's brilliant. And the growth was just explosive. I mean, check this out. His first install was November 15th. By the end of January, that's barely 2 months later, he had 35 sets out there, bringing in $2,400 in monthly recurring revenue. This just proved the demand was undeniably real. But, there was a problem. His first strategy was actually holding him back from growing faster. The next insight he had, well, that's what really unlocked the full potential of this whole business. See, Kyler's first plan was to buy brand new $1,000 sets. At $60 a month, it was going to take him over 16 months just to break even on one set. But then he tried posting an old, used set. And guess what? The demand was exactly the same. His cost dropped to as low as $0, and his payback period shrank to just a few months. All of that financial risk just, poof, evaporated. And this was the huge realization. His customers weren't looking for some fancy top-of-the-line appliance. They just wanted to stop dragging their laundry down to the laundromat every week. They just needed a machine that worked, period. New, used, scratched, dented, it made absolutely no difference to them. And look, once you embrace the used market, this whole new world just opens up. You can find free working sets on Marketplace from people who are moving and just need them gone. You can team up with appliance stores to haul away the old units when they do new deliveries. You can even connect with guys who scrap metal for a living. The inventory is literally everywhere, and it's dirt cheap. So Kyler took everything he learned, all these little tricks and insights, and he turned it into a repeatable playbook. It's basically a system that anyone could follow to build their own little local appliance rental empire. Now, when it comes to getting the machines, you've really got two main paths. You can start slow and steady, hunting for those individual freebies on Marketplace to keep your costs at absolute zero. Or, once you're ready to grow fast, you do what Kyler did. Find a local reseller and cut a deal for machines in bulk, sometimes even with a warranty.
Okay, here's a real pro tip. Not all used machines are the same. The absolute gold standard, the Holy Grail, is the old Whirlpool direct drive model. These things were built like absolute tanks for over 30 years. They're simple, they're durable, and the parts are all under $30, which makes fixing them a total breeze. It's a perfect reminder of how they used to build things to last, not to be replaced.
So how do you find customers once you've tapped out Marketplace? Kyler uses this surprisingly simple, old-school method, door hangers. He just targets these big apartment complexes where he knows the units don't come with appliances. It's a super cheap, super high-impact way to get right in front of his perfect customer. And you want to know the best part? The customers, they stick around. In the rental world, a 10% monthly churn rate, meaning 10% of your customers cancel every month, is totally normal. Kyler's churn rate is just 1.5%. His customers stay for their entire lease and then they renew. That's what makes the income so incredibly stable and predictable. So all of this really leaves us with one final question. This whole post-rent-buy model isn't just about washers and dryers, right? It's a mindset. It's a way to test demand for anything with zero risk. So take a look around your own town, your own neighborhood. What essential, maybe even boring, but totally necessary item is just sitting there waiting to be rented out?